Cedric Baxter, he's announcing his commitment on Wednesday. He's the number 2 running back in the top 247. Texas is the team to beat for Cedric Baxter going into his announcement. And I was hearing buzz for Texas and Cedric Baxter even prior to Arch Manning announcing his commitment to the Longhorns. So if Cedric does indeed pick Texas over the Aggies, who he also visited at the end of his process before setting in his decision date in Miami and Florida, I think that Texas really kind of moved out in front before things became final with Arch Manning. Tashard Choice has done a great job in that recruitment, certainly winning over the family, and then Texas, what they're building, what they can offer student athletes is definitely exciting as well. But Chris, Jason, I just love the way that Texas is recruiting. I think Texas is recruiting the right guys and winning the right recruiting battles as they start to make their way over to the SEC. It's obviously well documented. The 2022 class was the best offensive line haul in America, and guys from that group are already making an impact. If you read the news and notes from Horns 247 and what's being gathered up by Trey Scott in the national desk team at 24/7 Sports, but you got Cole Hudson making an early impact. You feel good about Devin DJ Campbell down the road. When you look at these 2 Texas classes combined, they took in the 2022 cycle, Devin DJ Campbell, the number 1 guard in the country, Calvin Banks, the number 3 offensive tackle in the country per the 24/7 Sports composite. And then they went out and got Malik Agbo. They they beat Oklahoma for Nito Umeozulu, who's the number 4 interior offensive lineman in the country. And, we talked about Cole Hudson being in there, and they also they went out for Cameron Williams in the end, who at one point committed to Oregon. Connor Robertson is another offensive lineman that they landed from Austin Westlake. And then you look at this class, Texas has gone out and just landed several more big-bodied, explosive, physical offensive linemen at the point of attack as well, as it's a priority every year. But they go out and they get Connor Stroh, who is one of the more physically impressive, strong players at the point of attack. Trevor Gooseby, they land from in-state. Andre Kojo was a top target for them. Peyton Kirkland, they get late. And then Jaden Chapman, they beat Oklahoma out for. Those 11 offensive linemen or whatever it is, average weight 314 pounds. They're really makeshift in that room and changing what I think is going to be the identity of Texas football with those 2 recruiting classes. But you got to give it time. These guys are teenagers still. What Texas does on the field this year, I'm not too worried about. I know that people are going to put a lot of pressure on Texas this season to play well and start to then, it's easy to be negative on this scene. And I don't know what Texas is going to, Texas hasn't played well. Hasn't played physical football in a while. So with that being said, I think they'll be in a lot of close ball games, and we'll see what happens in the fourth quarter. But I love the trajectory of the program with that top 5 recruiting class last year and what is a class that's ranked number 5 right now, but could be number 3 by next Monday if they land Cedric Baxter and Jordan Matthews, who's committing next Monday. But I just look at the recruiting wins. They're winning the right recruiting battles. They flipped Terrence Brooks, a corner from Ohio State. Jamon Tapp, they go into Louisiana and beat LSU and other SEC programs. Justice Finkley go into the state of Alabama and beat Alabama and Auburn and SEC programs for him. I mean, those were recruiting battles that we haven't seen Texas win in a long time. They flip Ethan Burke late from Michigan, one of the state's top in-state pass rushers, a guy that you just feel like Michigan's won a lot of ball games with guys like Ethan Burke. Texas wants to win a lot of ball games with Ethan Burke. And then here in 2023, Derek Williams, they would love to have him at LSU, but he's in Texas's class right now. We talked about Matthews. Matthews is down to Tennessee and Texas, but LSU, they're going to try hard all the way. Texas is the favorite going into his commitment next Monday. Darian Gillette beating the Aggies for him, one of the more physically impressive and most athletic second-level defenders in the class. Texas is winning the right recruiting battles at the right positions to be able to play smash mouth football in the SEC. then, of course, obviously, the way they've recruited quarterbacks is second to none when you look at the portal and Arch Manning and Malik Murphy, Quinn Ewers. And then you look at the speed that they've recruited at wideout, whether it's Brendan Thompson last cycle or Jonte Cook here in this cycle. They're going to be dynamic at the wideout position. And then Cedric Baxter, maybe the heir apparent to Bijan, if he does choose Texas. I like the way it's been trending for Texas for a while. He's known what he's going to do for a while. He's going to announce his college decision tomorrow. I think that's going to be good news for the Longhorns. And so we'll see what happens with that.